A little over a year ago, we moved from Tokyo to the countryside of Japan. When we tell people this, most ask, why? The simple answer is because we feel most happy when surrounded by nature. Going for a walk after work and seeing the rice fields change little by little as the year grows longer, or looking out the window and seeing a different view of the mountains. These small, everyday parts of living in the countryside help us stop and appreciate the constantly changing world around us. Many times, people also ask, but why specifically Nagano? That is, the prefecture in central Japan we moved to. And the answer to that is even simpler. Because of the mountains. Japan has 3 mountain ranges that make up the Japanese Alps, and all are located either in or close to Nagano. Since moving to the countryside, we actually haven't hiked much in the Alps, mostly because you want good weather to tackle these mountains. But finally, a weekend with clear skies was on the horizon.
We are certainly not the fastest hikers or the most technically skilled, but a big goal of ours is to, little by little, gain the confidence and experience to do harder hikes in the Alps. And living close to the mountains will hopefully help us do that. So with that said, the 3-day hike we're going on this weekend is our longest yet. And while we focus on getting the kilometers done, we also want to share with you the raw beauty of these mountains. The hope is by the end of the hike, we'll still feel like moving to the countryside for the mountains was the right decision. The hike we're doing this time is the Harinoi circuit. It's not quite as popular as some of the main hikes in the Northern Alps, and that's why we chose it. If you've seen any of our other hiking videos, you would have noticed there are a lot of people on the trails, and that's because we're always hiking on the weekends. Why the weekend? Well, because we both work during the week at Japanese companies. We're planning to make a video that dives into our jobs in Japan, everything from job searching to salaries, so keep a lookout for that one. But back to the hike, this was going to be a 2-night, 3-day hike, and we were planning to camp both nights. The trailhead is actually next to one of the starting points of the Tateyama Kurobe Alpine Route, a route that takes sightseers and hikers alike all the way through the Alps on different kinds of transport. So we'll be enjoying some of the same views, just with a lot more walking. After filling in the hiking registration form at the trailhead, we set off.
Hopefully in 4 hours, we're gonna be up there. But we've got some work cut out for us first. Let's go. It actually turned out to be more like 5 hours until we reached the hut and campsite up on the ridge. This circuit is long and made all the more longer by carrying all of our gear and food for the next couple of days. One thing you might notice Roy carrying is a can of orange bear spray on his front. We'd seen reports online of bear sightings in this area, and at the trailhead, there was also a sign to say that a bear had recently eaten a hiker's food on a nearby mountain. So we were alert. We did actually see a bear on the second day. We were completely fine and we didn't need to use the bear spray, but we'll talk about that more later.
Halfway through the hike, we arrived at one of the 3 snow valleys of the Northern Alps, or what was left of it at the end of August. Until around mid-August, this valley is filled with snow, and you need crampons to do the hike. But with most of the snow already melted, we took the route up the side, which was steep and involved a few chain sections. After what felt like an incredibly long slog up the valley, we arrived at Harinoi Hut. Our first port of call before anything else was to get a warm bowl of food for lunch.
Question. Is this what heaven is?
Ooh, I don't know. Why does my body hurt so much if this is heaven?
Or is this hell? But this is heaven, right?
I don't know. Either way, feels good. This is living.
We also replenished our water at the hut, which, like most things in the mountains, toilets, campsites, and fresh water costs a little bit of money. Here it was 200 yen for 1 liter. Then it was time to set up camp. We arrived just after 2 p.m, but the main campsite next to the hut was already full. So we trekked 15 minutes further up the mountain to the secondary campsite and set up. Mine and Roy's families are both from rural backgrounds in Australia, so it makes sense why we gravitate towards the countryside over big cities. Something I'll always remember is what my mum said on her first Japan visit about her experience going up Tokyo Tower. When I asked her how it was, she said it was nice, but looking out and seeing only buildings as far as the eye could see made her feel claustrophobic. Being here in the mountains, in the complete opposite environment, I can see what she means. The city is busy and alive, which has its own merits, but the feeling of calm and quiet in the mountains is unmatched.
We packed up camp and set out just after sunrise.
We've made it to the first of quite a few peaks today, Mount Harinoi, and look at the panorama view. Literally, we can see like the whole of the Northern Alps. We can see Yarigatake, the spear one over there. There's Tsurugidake, a scary one that I don't know if we'll ever do because it's quite dangerous. And just, yeah, everything.
Mount Fuji.
Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji, guys.
Only just though, but yeah, it's amazing.
Yep. And from here, we've got quite a bit to do. Probably 6 hours, at least. And some ridge lines that look a little bit skinny. How you feeling, right?
Oh, well, it should be fun, right? It feels good to just not have to do that hard slog first thing, up the mountain. It feels good to just wake up, roll out of your tent and actually just start walking with some amazing views.
Yep. The next section was easily the hardest, technically, of the day. The trail became very narrow with a lot of loose rocks. Honestly, I was feeling a combination of, this is a bit scary, as well as, okay, you've done stuff like this before, you've got this. The hiking poles were the real MVP. I don't think we'll ever do a hike again without them.
I don't know if you can see, there's a spot with some people coming down right there. That area was awful. And just looking at it from this angle, it looked so treacherous. It's easily the worst part of the hike so far. It didn't feel awful when we were in the moment. It did, but not when I look at it like this. I'm like, hell no, that looks too scary. Oh well, we made it.
Our hard slog up the second peak of the day did not go unrewarded because we had our first ever sighting of a raicho. These little guys are rock ptarmigan and they live in alpine environments in Japan. They're a really well-loved sight. They're even the official bird of Nagano. But their numbers have dwindled over the past decades, and now conservation efforts are ongoing to increase their population. In the second half of the hike, we didn't feel much, as we were kinda dying and just focused on getting the distance covered. In the last couple of hours, the trail became much more mellow, which was great for our weary bodies, but we'd also heard that this is where a number of bear sightings had been.
Geez, this is a bit of a steep ledge here. But what I'm more worried than the ledge is bears. Who knows what's around this corner, so we just gotta keep going. Hey bear! Just to, make them aware of us.
As we said earlier, we did see a bear. Luckily, it was a couple 100 meters from the trail and doing its own thing. So while we did walk with bear spray in hand for a while, we passed through with no issues. It certainly did reinforce, though, the importance of being prepared and checking trail information before leaving. After many long hours, way more than expected because we are slow pokes, we've finally arrived. And I must say, the view's pretty good. That is where we were this morning. Can you believe it? And we walked many peaks over to get to here. I'm just really glad to be sitting down, honestly, and about to get some food and then put ourselves to bed as the sun goes down.
The campsite here was a couple hundred meters from the hut. We were encouraged by the staff to not have any food out around the tents due to the bears, so instead everyone cooked and ate right in front of the hut.
Watching as first light touches the peaks and then slowly descends into the valleys below is one of my favorite things about hiking in the mountains. At the end of the previous day, I did feel like, why are we putting ourselves through this? But then come the quiet, peaceful moments like this. Moments that feel particularly special when you get to share it with someone. For the final day, it was just a quick 3 hours back to the car park below. Never in my life have I been more excited to see our van than right here, right now. Oh, we're back. I don't know if anyone else has this experience when hiking. When you first get off the mountain, you're like, let's never do something that crazy again. But as the days go by, all you start to remember are the nice moments. The sunrises, the panoramic views all around, and the feeling of, hey, I did that. Then before you know it, you're thinking, when can I fit in my next hike? Basically, that is to say, we are already thinking that. And to be able to live in the countryside and have easy access to the mountains is something that I don't think we'll ever stop appreciating. This was a really long hike, so we couldn't fit everything into the one video. Over on our Patreon, we do have some extra stories from behind the scenes and information for those who may be wanting to do this hike for themselves. So check that out if you're interested, and thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.